What's shaking down, fellas? This here's Bobby Succotash with this Atlas Lathe. Now this here tutorial goes out to Mortske Repair because he done said that he got an Atlas Lathe just like this one but don't know dick about how to run it. So that's where Bobby Succotash comes in. Export all of my knowledge right through your eyeballs into your brainstem, into your memory core components and all that. So this is what I'm going to try to do for you. Now I don't claim to be the best machinist in the whole wide world or nothing, but I do know a little bit, and I hope that that little bit will help you out. Alrighty, man. Now listen up. I'd like to thank you for coming by to hang out in Bobby Succotash's cheap-ass internet lathe tutorial program. And we're going to get right into it. Now listen, I don't know what you don't know or what you know, so I'm just going to go over what we've got here as far as the machinery is, and then you can just ignore whatever you want to ignore, and maybe you'll learn something if you don't know what it is. Anyway, let's move on into it. This long thing down here, going all the way back in here, is called your lead screw. You may or may have not known that. I'm sure you probably did. And this here is your lead screw engagement lever here. So it goes reverse, neutral, and forward. And that will make the lead screw engage and go forward or reverse. And that thing turns around. Now the entire reason to have that lead screw is to drive this carriage. And the carriage is attached to your cross slide. Cross slide is this one in the middle. Just goes straight on in. And then your compound on the top, which you can rotate around and dial in with these graduated scales on the sides. So that's what the compound, that's what the lead screw does, is drives all this stuff on top. Now what this lever right here is your lead screw half nut engagement lever. So inside it's got a nut, it's a half nut. So if you think about a regular nut, not that nut, the nut's on a bolt and it's threaded in the middle. And if you were to split that in the center, you would end up with two halves of a nut. Now you can open and close them things with the half nut, and then it grabs onto these threads, these Acme threads, and it just drags the carriage and stuff around with it. So that's the half nut engagement lever right there. Down here we have your power cross feed, and whenever your lead screw is moving, you can actually pull this thing out, and it'll make your cross feed, cross slide, move in on its own so you could face off a big part or something without hand cranking it. But I'll get into all that in a minute. I'm not just going to leave you with this here crazy old broomstick pointer. I'm going to actually kind of get into it here and show you a little bit about what it is and point out some other things that I didn't really mention because I don't know if you use them, but you still need to know. Obviously, it's a tailstock. This is a live center. That's a bunch of crap in the background. Motor in the back, chuck, piece of old junk stock. A piece of crap eBay aluminum $30 tool holder. That's a total nightmare mess. Don't ever buy the aluminum ones. But anywho, you probably got a better one than that. I think I saw you had an Loris or something. And then I'll show you the gear train in there. Anywho, let's get to it, man. All right, Mr. Mortske, now listen up. I'm going to kind of give you an overview real fast. We're going to get into some live action. But first off, I wanted to show you this. This here is your power cross feed. So that is the engagement knob that turns on the feed that drives your entire cross slide forward and back. So there's moth. And then anyway, that's how you can face off a big part. This is the knob. I saw it on yours, but I didn't see you using it. And you said you didn't know how, so I'm going to show you how that thing works right there. And then over here in the back, obviously, you've got your lever so that you can take tension off your motor, change your speeds around. All right, man, there's a couple things that you need to know over here. This is your power cross feed knob. It's like an engagement knob. And then I'll get to this in a minute. You probably don't care about it, but I'll tell you anyway. And then we're going to be using this here lead screw engagement lever and the half nut engagement lever. So we're going to flip it forward. Going pretty fast, right? Because I want you to be able to see it. You can see the collar moving in there again, but the lead screw is not. Yet we're locked on the focus. Let me lock the focus on that. All right, so we're going to flip this in forward. Now our lead screw is moving. This is turning. You can see it. If I pull this thing out, check out what happens. Now remember that the half nut engagement lever is what engages the carriage. So it clamps down on that and drags around. So as long as this is in neutral, pull that out. Check it out, man, like magic. See it going in? All right. So what we do is we flip this thing back into neutral, into reverse, Now it's going the opposite way. Pull that thing out, away it comes back at us. Well, shucks. Now, if you want to get super crazy, you could even engage this, and now you've got them both moving at the same time, going on a diagonal. But honestly, I'm not really sure what you would use that for, because it seems like it would cut it like a 45 and it'd be awfully extreme. So yeah, you can use that and this power cross feed together. Again, I'm not an expert with this lathe thing, or I'm not an actual machinist. I just play one on this here video. So maybe look it up online. But anyway, I've talked to people said that they don't really have that on their lathe. So just kind of an interesting thing. All right, so I know that you already know how to make chips and stuff and do that thing, so I'm not going to get into all that. But obviously, you know that this thing turns it in like so, and this thing makes it go back and forth, and this thing goes like that. So anywho, the stock, we're going to try not to crash into it this time, so we'll back this thing out a little ways. I don't have another camera for you. I'm sorry. Well, that's in reverse, going that way. Again, you might have a different switch than I got, but we're going to use forward for this, and it'll turn back towards us. There we go. Notice that the lead screw ain't doing shit down there, so we can flip it forward. There we go. Now it's moving. It's pretty slow because this isn't moving real fast, so they're in a relationship together. You know what I'm saying? So as this thing spins faster, this will also spin faster, and that's how you can maintain your feeds on your speed of your part. So that's kind of it, or your speed is matched. That's what I meant to say. So obviously, if we go up here and we flip this thing around to like Narc's cart level, hot rod stuff, there we go. It's a little crooked. You're going to see that that's quite a bit faster, and this will also roll faster. See what I'm saying, man? Like lightning fast, man. So we're going to turn this thing back down just a tad bit. We're in the live action handheld camera right now to kind of give you an idea what this thing does. This is your threading indicator. It don't do anything other than sit there and turn with the lead screw. It engages there at the bottom, okay? And that thing just turns, and then it's got a little mark up there, you can see, and these numbers line up with it. So what happens with this is it's just a reference. And you change your stuff with these over here, your feed rate. So that's how you would thread like a big bolt. Make this, you can make a new lead screw if you could hold it straight, anything you want. And then these down here are the diagrams, say what your TPI and all this different stuff is. And then you arrange all this stuff down here to fit whatever you need. So if your machine is actually cutting a bad finish, you can adjust these gears in here to make it feed slower per revolution, so it won't go as far, and then it'll give you a nice mirror finish. But at the same time, you got to make sure that you're not backing it all up and doing multiple passes on your material. So I've never really messed with mine, but I do want to get into some threading, and that's how you do it. So whenever you're threading, you're going to, well, you can watch it on the internet, damn, but this is how it works, and you figure it out with that. So once you get like 1/4 all set up in there, you would just feed into it, and it would cut your first row of threads, okay, and you'd be watching this thing and see where you're hidden and where you're hitting and where you're leaving off. So as it goes across, you back it out, you slide it over, and when you want to engage it again, you wait for this number to come back around, and whenever it comes back around, you drive it in, and then that will catch you on the right track there for your threads, and that's how you cut your threads. So that's what that part does. Oh, back gears. Shoot, almost forgot about the back gears. So now let's say that you need a little bit of, oomph or whatever. You've got this lever here. Now this is your back gear lever. So what that does is it puts it into basically like 4-wheel drive low range. So what this back gearing does is, it, like I said, it's like low range for your lathe. So what we do here is, if you notice when I roll the chuck, we've got the pulleys and everything locked onto this main gear. So what you can do is you can pull this out. If you notice, I'm pulling it out, snaps out. Now it disengages these gears. So this drive gear here and all that stuff is off the pulley. So, and our back gears are out. So it's in normal mode, right? So we do this, and if we turn it on, it's going to make a bunch of racket. Check it out. But it ain't doing nothing. Check it. If I would have left this up, it would have made all kinds of noise. But yeah, we don't have any power. So it's freewheeling right now, and I'm snagged because this is disconnected. So what we do is we throw the back gears on, and you can see it'll engage this gear right here. Now remember, these are Zamax, so don't go crazy with them with your meat hands or nothing, because you know, you can break them and chip them. So anyway, look at how much slower it goes. Now it's a lot noisier, and that just might be my lathe, but anyway, you've got a lot more torque now because it's geared down. It's got the back gears engaged. So if you're parting or something like that, you don't want this thing flying at 50 million miles an hour. You just want it cutting nice and smooth. So you engage the back gears. And then whenever you're done with them, you flip that thing forward. Dadgummit, I got snagged again. And then you go over here, roll it around. It's kind of hard to do one-handed. Push this thing in and rotate them until you feel it lock in. There we go. Back gears are out. Back to normal operation. So you probably already know this, but anyways, I'll show you one more time. This thing, this bolt right here locks your table, or locks your carriage, so your carriage can't go back and forth. If you're parting something and you have a parting tool, you can't afford to have this thing moving around on you. You need it to be dead straight, or else it'll break the parting tool and destroy your work and do all kinds of crazy shit. So you want to have your carriage locked down good and tight. Now this thing over here, what we do is we back these things off. You know, probably know this, but you know, for thoroughness, and then we can, well, shoot. What a freaking Godzilla, tighten it. There we go. So now this thing will rotate around. I like to keep it right here. You can see it's got a graduated scale. I can't read it because I got my sunglasses on because I'm cool. But anyways, you can look online and find out what angle you want to, what is ideal for the types of cutters and type of material and all this different stuff that you want to cut at. This is just kind of your basic old piece of crap here, and it's super dull. Anywho, that's just the way that thing works. So I tighten them up. One thing that you need to keep in mind though, brother, is that you can keep this thing nice and tight. Do not hit your half nuts with this thing engaged, or bad things will happen. So I don't ever tighten it up crazy tight. It's just barely loose. You don't want to start engaging stuff with all your things locked down, or else things will break, and it's not good. So beyond that, keep everything lubed up through your little oil pots up in here. These holes down there are for lubricant. They got a piece of felt down inside of there. So you're going to have to run some oil down in there. Keep a good coat of oil on your ways. You know, keep them nice and clean, or else they'll get wallered out, and you don't want that. So beyond that, I think that's about covering all the basic bases that you could want. The rest of it, you can ask me if you want to. Woo! That's right, Bobby Succotash, free internet lathe tutorial. It's worth what you paid for it, man. So look, if you got any questions on this machine thing, you just, you know, shoot me an email or let me know. I don't mind ignoring you. You know what I'm saying? Nah, for real, man. If you got anything that you need my help with or whatever, turning the knob, turning the dial, looking at stuff, I'm your guy. Just let me know. So I appreciate you checking it out. Hope you have a good one, man. Bobby Succotash out.